This video will show you an example of a Create Your Own Country project PowerPoint presentation. You can look back at this video while you're working on your project to get ideas for the different requirements and to refer to it if you are unsure or stuck on what exactly it is that you need to include in your PowerPoint presentation to fulfill the requirements. Okay, looking at this first slide, it is from the Create Your Own Country box on your handout that shows you the requirements for the project. It fulfills 2 bullet points from the Create Your Own Country box in that it has the name of the country that Mr. Carter created, which is the Who Dat Nation, along with that country's flag. Okay, the second slide completes the Create Your Own Country box with the political map of Who Dat Nation. Notice that the major cities are represented with a dot beside them. The capital city is represented with a yellow star, and a scale is also included to show distance on his political map here of the Who Dat Nation. The third slide here on the PowerPoint fulfills the requirement for the physical geography box. It includes the physical features map with a title, key, scale. Note the use of color to represent elevation. So the different colors on his Mr. Carter's map here show the different elevation throughout Who Dat. One thing that he would need to add to this in order to get full credit would be the use of a compass rose. So make sure that you have your compass rose when you complete your physical map. It also explains over here to the right how the physical features affect the way that people live in Who Dat, which is another requirement for the physical geography part of your project. Slide 4 is the population density box requirement. It contains the title, Population Density Map, has the key and legend here, has the scale once again. The use of color shows where the low and high population points are throughout the country. The population density is also explained in writing, so you need to make sure that you put a little bit of thought into this to give us a good explanation of why people are living where they live. What is causing one area of your country to have low population compared to another area of your country that has high population. Once again, make sure that you have a compass rose, which Mr. Carter has failed to include on this population density map. Maybe we'll mark him up and give him some homework lunch or lunch detention. Slide 5 is the economy box requirement, which contains the economic activity map of the Who Dat Nation, which once again requires your title, a legend or key, and a scale. We also want to include that compass rose. The use of color in conjunction with the key shows how land is used in the Who Dat Nation. For example, on Mr. Carter's example, he has blue representing fishing, the orange areas representing farming, and the red areas representing trade and manufacturing throughout his country. Also to the right, he has his explanation of the economic activity that goes on in his country. It seems to be in his particular country, it has a heavy reliance on commercial fishing. Slide 6, it fulfills the government box requirements. Contains a diagram showing the structure of the Who Dat government. When you're completing your own project, you will need to decide what type of government and structure your country implements. Also note the explanation of the Who Dat government in writing to the right. Slide 7 is the culture box requirement from your project handout. showing the 8 different elements of culture that Mr. Carter chose to display. When you are doing this project for your own country, you are free to choose any 8 elements of culture that interest you. Notice he has a combination of both pictures and words to show the culture of the Who Dat Nation. Slide 8 is the problems box requirement. Here we have 4 problems in Who Dat being addressed. It is your choice which problems you choose to address for your country when you are completing your project. Looks like here Mr. Carter has chosen problems with land use conflict, a densely populated urbanized area, traffic concerns, and pollution problems due to his traffic concerns in the Who Dat Nation. Our next slide is the public concerns box requirements. Very similar to the problems box requirements in that you have to pick 4 public concerns, address how the country provides 4 different services to citizens. In this case, we have electricity, food, providing enough food, public safety, and education. Here we have the pull factors box requirement. This slide simply just has the 2 pull factors are addressed that make people want to move to Who Dat. And in Mr. Carter's case for Who Dat, he chose their rich and vibrant culture as one of the influential pull factors, and the amount of jobs within the commercial fishing industry as 2 reasons why people are pulled towards the country of Who Dat and they want to move there. Finally, we have the push factors slide here. Very similar to the pull factors, except now we're explaining 2 different push factors that make people not want to live in Who Dat or leave Who Dat. He focused on that there are so many jobs in fishing that there aren't many jobs outside of that industry in his country. He also chose to look at the factor that tsunamis happen regularly in around the Who Dat country as reasons why people might be pushed out of the Who Dat Nation. One thing I want to address is that these slides did not exactly go in order as the boxes on your handout and your directions. You don't have to go in a certain order as long as all the requirements are met. That would be perfectly okay, so I don't want you to get confused on that. But you can refer back to this whether you're in school on a Lenovo or at home on a computer if you get to a point where you're stuck, or you just need an example to kind of get you some ideas and to get you going on completing your project and making sure that you fulfill your requirements. Good luck.